So this is what we look like, black and white.
Huh. Kind of like it.
Yeah.
Welcome to ZZ Talk's review of WandaVision episode 3, and I really hope my editing skills are as good as I think they are, because otherwise that skit was pointless. Zeus, how was your watch of the show? What did you think?
It was good. I actually liked it. I actually really like. This is actually so far my favorite episode. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
Actually,
funny.
fun story is so my friend is actually the one that was over our Disney Plus account, but we had to do a little bit of editing so he could get HBO Max. I had to do Disney Plus, so I completely forgot about it. So I had to subscribe this morning for it. So just to let people know, if you got the money, you can actually get 2 months for free because you can do a one-time payment of $69.99. I didn't know that. I didn't know that till today.
Well, I mean, that's funny that you said this is your favorite episode, because this is probably my least favorite episode.
Yeah.
And we'll get into why that is. So as usual, this is only the second episode where we're saying as usual. We're going to start with non-spoilery stuff and then go into spoilery stuff. That being said, it's probably best for you guys to watch the episode first before watching our review of it. But we'll have the timestamps so that you know when we're going to go deep into spoiler territory. So, you want me to go first?
Yes, because I know that my review or my recap would probably be be like, and then everybody died.
Right.
You know, so I don't want to do all that.
Right. So, hoping you guys watched the first 2 episodes before you're watching this. But as you know, in the end of the second episode, Wanda is pregnant, and this whole episode was regarding that pregnancy and how fast it was moving. And there were funny bits of Vision wondering why everything was happening so quickly. So my non-spoiler part of the review is going to be about the comedy of it, because as of now it's still a sitcom basically, with some mystery behind it.
To be specific, it's a Brady Bunch-esque, because that was the Brady Bunch set.
Oh, it was.
It was. If you look at it, the staircase was the same as it was with the Brady Bunch, because I don't think they had a staircase last time.
I don't think so either.
And last time it was more, I think, honeymooners than anything. So I think they're also playing motif to different types of shows. And in this one, the theme song, I don't know what that was like. I don't know if if anybody knows of like what famous show they might have been doing with the actual opening credit, but the set itself was the Brady Bunch.
I actually enjoyed the theme song. That was one of the first things that I thought of when I was watching it. Like, I actually really liked this theme song. So I said it was my least favorite from for me, it's from a comedic perspective, it was my least favorite. And I think I tend to veer away from slapstick comedy more so than like just, the written word, right? And I think from episode 1 going to episode 3, they started leaning more on slapstick, episode 2 with the magic stuff and Vision being hoisted up, or, the piano turning into cardboard and all that stuff. It's very physical comedy. It was funny, but not as funny to me as just the banter. Right? That being said, Phil is I think he's the funniest character on the show. He only has like 1 line per episode, and it's always a hit. Phil is the husband of the blonde lady, the one that's really mean. That was really mean.
Oh yeah, long hair.
Had 1 line, and it was basically when she was like, "Do my earrings make me look fat?" And the lights went off, and he said, "Oh, thank God!" Like that's all it was.
That got a really good, genuine laugh from me.
Exactly, the delivery was perfect. It's just, "Oh, thank God!" But he killed it. So, So on the non-spoilery part, the comedy just didn't hit as well as the first 2 episodes for me. But everything else I have to say about it is spoilery. So I'm gonna end my stuff there. Anything you want to add?
No, I was gonna actually say that for me. So if you are, because I know there's a lot of people who are, it's Marvel, so they're like, oh, I don't want so much comedy. There's people who complain about that, who like complain about the comedy part of Marvel, but then everybody completely hates how dark DC universe is. So
right.
It's like, I think this is where they're moving more in towards the actual advance. I really enjoyed the advancement of the story. I think it's advancing the story itself more than than the first 2 episodes was kind of setting it up to let it be, kind of I don't know what the right word for it is. I guess they were kind of setting up the foundation of, hey, look, this
Right.
is how different we are from the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What's
This
a
is
big mystery?
exactly. Now it's setting towards the discovering that mystery and just getting us to a point where now we're going to start advancing the story. So I really like it. Anything else that I say will probably be spoilery. So if you guys have not seen the episode, press pause, go watch it. It's only 30 minutes. Come back, press play again, and then you can listen to us go on.
Good. Spoiler territory. There's a thing flashing on your screen. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that we actually neglected to talk about in our first video, which is the ad, right? They did the ads in all 3 episodes. I keep looking at these ads for like some big clues. In the first episode, there was the Stark toaster, Stark 3000 or whatever. You know, I love the 3000. Then the second episode was the watch, the Strucker watch, you know, which is like Baron von Strucker. And I believe someone said there was a Hydra symbol there, but I actually haven't rewatched the second episode. I have rewatched the first. And then this episode, the ad had to do with this lady who was like really struggling because her kids and her pets and all that stuff were really messy. So she went on a spa, or she got a bath system that was called Hydra Bath or whatever.
Hydra Soak.
Hydra Soak, there we go. Which is an obvious nod to Hydra, but I didn't see anything like any underlying thing like, oh, this is tying into the bigger mystery. I think it's just like, hey, remember Hydra? Here we are. Which brings me to some questions I have about the big mystery itself. One, I think some of the questions we had last week about who's controlling what, I think they were kind of answered this week because it seems pretty clear it's Wanda.
It's clearly Wanda, but still don't know how she got there to where she's controlling this environment. But yeah, everything was, her water broke. All of a sudden it starts raining inside the house. You know, I think, what was it? Vision asked her some question. I already forgot, but.
And then she resets.
No, she said it, and then all of a sudden.
He said that something is wrong here. And then it's like, it was like a VHS kind of skip where it the scene restarts and then but Vision changes what he says. So I was kind of wrong about episode 1. Vision isn't in on it.
And then we advanced a little bit more on the one that I said kind of looked like she was going to be a big thing, which was, what's her name? Bernadette? No.
Yeah,
Geraldine.
Geraldine, yeah.
Geraldine, so it was kind of spooky a little bit, right? It was kind of like a little bit like not, I wouldn't say The Conjuring, but kind of like a little bit like, looked like she had PTSD or postpartum or something like that, where she starts singing to her baby and she's talking about her brother, which I really appreciate, because if you notice after the Ultron, they really didn't talk. They really haven't mentioned Quicksilver much. So that's kind of like, I kind of did like that they brought it back, you know, and especially considering the fact that he's a twin. They were twins. She gave birth to twins.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about the whole twins thing until she mentioned that I also had a twin. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind. As soon as she had the twins, I was like, oh, she's a twin.
Yeah.
And of course, because my wife, twins run in my wife's family, I know that it's hard for twins to have twins. So I was like, first of all, biologically speaking, that's pretty hard. So
it's even harder for your twins to be born the same day as you, which is the case with your wife, right?
Yes, that is true. That is true. I appreciate that. Nice little nudge on my part. But yeah, so, and then there's also things that are kind of give you the idea that it's breaking down a little bit, right? Because when I think Herb is weed whacking or trimming, he starts trimming through a wall.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the system that Wanda has is breaking down, and then they suspect Geraldine because they say
because she's new.
She doesn't have a home, and it's kind of like, all right, and that's when we go back to she's in the singing to her twin, and Geraldine's like, yeah, your brother, he got killed by Ultron.
Right. So then, you want to know why I found this to be my least favorite of the 3? And that's not to say it's a bad episode. I actually think it is a good episode as far as advancing the story. It's my least favorite because I think obviously the first episode didn't deal a lot with the mystery stuff. It was almost 95% the sitcom thing, and then only towards the end did they touch on the mystery. Whereas the second, it was kind of sprinkled earlier in the episode with the helicopter and stuff, right? But it didn't feel out of place. Whereas I feel like the third tried to touch on the the big mystery of it, but it felt a little wonky to me, right? It really felt out of place up until
I would
when
say because they moved a little bit from comedy to kind of the Twilight Zone-ish kind of level.
yeah, but it was jarring how they moved from there, right? Like it didn't feel like a natural progression to me. And I don't know. There was something about it that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Though I will say that I get the sense that Geraldine was sent in, right, by whatever organization. She had the pendant that was shaped like a sword and shield, the two different organizations. So that's almost definitely what they're pointing to. But I get the sense that when you enter that realm that it seems Wanda is controlling, you kind of lose your
Sight of who you
memories.
are.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she was sent in, and then she was remembering the Pietro thing. She's like, "Oh, Pietro was killed by Ultron." That was her remembering, her mission. And then she was like, "Oh, damn, I wasn't supposed to give this intel."
Well, no, because you also remember the last episode she did mention the whole "I don't know why I'm here."
Yeah, no, she mentioned that. But
So
I
I
don't
think
know.
it was I think there's probably a mystery behind her too. There's probably some type of alternate. You know how shows are like this. There's always like you're sent in to do a mission, but really you were sent in to do an alternate mission, or
Yeah.
you know you're a victim too. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be that. They're gonna lead into those kind of I guess cliches of regular shows
Yeah.
like these.
But then now I'm like, okay, so then what role does Catherine Hahn's character play? Because it seems like she and Herb are like they are in cahoots in some way, or they are both in the know about some things going on. But I don't think she's in the same organization as Geraldine. So then, like, there was a lot that was raised. I will give it that, but I don't know. I thought it could have been
Yeah, and I think
executed
that's kind
better.
of the point. I think that's the reason why they probably released this episode by itself versus like the first two they released
Yeah.
at the same time. They're probably like, no, we're gonna keep y'all holding to this. Or
I am glad they did that as opposed to releasing the three together. I'm glad they released those two. It gave us enough to start formulating questions and theories and stuff. And then this third one kind of dispelled some of those theories while raising some new ones.
all right,
Yes.
so we agree. Wanda's definitely controlling it
Yeah.
because obviously, I mean, she freaking rejected Geraldine.
Yeah. She threw her out of there. Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, like, where is it though? Because it'd be one thing if it was just a mental thing, and let's just say, and this is going back to Agents of Shield, where they're locked into the thing on the brain and they're laying down on a gurney or whatever, right? And then that's how they get them out of this world. But she's literally emitted out of thin air. So is it Truman Show like where there's there's an actual place that they're
like
in
dome.
physically and they're physically moving, or is it what it? So that's the kind of question waiting to
This
get
certainly
answered.
certainly isn't an LMD situation like Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
They are there in a place called Westview. I'm thinking, especially since it looked like there was some barrier that Geraldine was spit out of. I'm thinking Wanda has created this barrier around Westview, and then the doctor's line about a small town you can't really get out, or something to that effect. It's like they're literally stuck in that dome, like the ABC show.
So what was the beekeeper last week? You think he was a maintenance man?
I don't know. I don't know, but he was able to come in from under the dome. I'm gonna call it the dome because we don't know what it is. But he was able to come in from the manhole. So maybe that was their way of figuring out how to penetrate this dome.
Okay. Yeah. So we know who's controlling it. The people who surround Geraldine at the end of the episode, are they with Geraldine?
The friend
you
of
think
her.
They're with Geraldine?
I think they are with, even though they came with guns drawn.
That's They always do that. They always make it look like they're gonna come at attack, and then all of a sudden, the next episode, they're like, "Are you okay?" And they're picking her up, and all of a sudden, you know,
I think they're with. I think they're with.
And they're trying to penetrate the. So, do you think the beekeeper is with them too?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't think so.
No,
I don't think
I think
so.
the beekeeper's supposed to be like the villain.
The beekeeper seemed nefarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm calling him beekeeper now because when we were editing the last episode, I pulled up pictures and I saw that he wasn't a beekeeper.
You saw the bees?
Yeah. No, there wasn't a bee. I didn't see any bees, but I saw the beekeeper.
Or maybe I heard bees.
Maybe that's what it is. But okay, so let's wrap this up. It was only one episode, so shorter video. Your score out of 10 for episode.
I'm actually gonna give this one an 8.
Really?
I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I didn't enjoy it till the latter parts. I don't know, man. The physical comedy bits for me it didn't do it for me. With the papaya and the water girl and
I actually love the whole pregnancy lemon thing because when my wife was pregnant, she would be like, "Yeah, they're the size of this, they're the size of a pineapple, they're the size of a ligum bean or whatever." So I was like, I cracked up during that, and I'm pretty sure
I do feel though that Elizabeth Olsen, I think this was her best episode as far as like in the sitcom realm of things. She did a lot of good face acting, especially early on when the doctor was like, "We'd like to do this in stages of fruits for the women, because it's easier for them."
And she's like, "Really?
So, what the hell? Yeah. Hey, it's your show. You made it. You made him a misogynist." So yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, cool. Which is a lower score than I gave last week, just because I didn't think it was as smooth as it could have been, though I am really intrigued to see more about who Geraldine is.
And I think that's the reason I gave it an 8. This one percolated me a lot more to want to watch it more, so I felt like that one. All right, cool. So that's your review. Real quickly, predictions for episode 4.
I think they're gonna jump right into asking Geraldine how come you were spit out and all that stuff. At least I hope so. I don't want that to be held off too long. My prediction is they're actually gonna veer pretty heavily away from the sitcom motif. Obviously, we're going to the 80s now. Oh, one thing. They were reading about the pregnancy thing, about Braxton Hicks, the contractions, and Vision said, named after Braxton Hicks in 1975. And I was like, are they dating something that comes after the time period that they're supposed to be in? And well, I guess they were supposed to be in the 70s, but would a book have been written about it already? So I wonder if there's one of those things where Vision should have been like, wait, but we're in 1970. How come? Or something like that. But he didn't.
I think there's a lot. Well, also got to remember, a black guy and a white woman are together, and that's always like kind of.
No, but it's the 70s though.
That is the 70s. Yeah, you're right. There was a little bit more. There was a little bit more openness there, right? So I guess that's true. I guess I still think about the fact that Geraldine was among those women in the second episode, and that's supposed to be the 60s black and white couples. So I just feel like either it's the creators are like, we're not gonna pay attention to that, or because of the fact that she really is of the 2000s.
She's an outsider. She is an outsider. So the line of "I don't know what I'm doing here" is a double entendre.
Yeah.
Like literally, as a black woman, what am I doing here? But also,
Yeah. So my prediction is, I think we're gonna see the beekeeper again. And I think we're gonna probably. I definitely do think it moves away from the comedy. Now it's gonna be more of a mystery / action. This is when we're gonna probably start seeing more action, like fights and stuff like that.
Hopefully, no more laugh track. The laugh track was getting on my nerves this episode. But yeah, the comedy will be there, but I think it will be very limited. It won't be as prevalent. So, all right, that's our review. Zeus, let's do this again sometime.
All right.